So I know what you're thinking, and keep in mind it's all fanfiction, so to quote Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, it don't matter. None of this matters. So yeah, so you can see from the title, Primarch Kora, The Great Crusade. So this is a Legend of Korra Warhammer 40k AU story. Basically, I had this idea kind of boil in my head while I was doing the other two previous videos of putting like the Earth Kingdom and the Earth Empire and the Fire Nation, and putting them, if they could survive the Warhammer Fantasy Old World. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we made a character into a Primarch and it was Korra, and I decided, you know what, fuck it, let's do this, and we're doing this because I had a dream, and it was this epic scene of Korra in Primarch armor fighting like just a wave of Necrons. So it was solidified. I was like, God, like, it's a sign from God, or the Chaos Gods, more aptly put. So yeah. So if this video does well, this is obviously the Great Crusade for the Imperium of Man. But if this video does well, maybe I'll do a second part and talk about the Horus Heresy, like what Korra did during the Horus Heresy. So yes, let's get into it. Now, the thing you have to understand is that in here, this is obviously an alternate universe, different things. So in here, yes, Korra is one of the 20 Primarchs created by the Emperor, but she's not like some lost number or whatever. She's actually the 11th Primarch. Yeah, in this continuity, there wasn't there aren't two forgotten Primarchs. There's one, but there's a reason why no one really likes the 11th. But we'll get to that if we get to a second part. But yeah, so Korra is the 11th, and she was created because, remember when in the Horus Heresy, or before the Horus Heresy, Malkador was like talking to some of the Primarchs and was like, I kind of advised your father to like make you all into women so maybe you would get along better. And in this continuity, Malkador did say that, but the Emperor was like, what if I made one of them a woman? What if I made one of them a girl? Like, what would happen? Because the Emperor would totally be experimental like that and see, like, if it does well, maybe I'll make maybe I'll make future ones. I mean, I have female custodies, so, you know, why not? Let's see what a female Primarch can be like. So Korra was created shortly thereafter. She was the only female Primarch that was created, because again, it was more of the Emperor, like, let's see what happens. So shit happens, they all get thrown to the warp, and Korra ends up on as an infant, her pod ends up on this wayward planet that is a lost planet from the Imperium that's kind of, it's not really that well evolved. It's barely managed space travel. And the four nations that live there have been at constant war with each other for a while. So Korra crash lands in the southern hemisphere of the planet, and her adoptive parents in this continuity, Tanrak and Senna, have watched as the comet that fell, and they're like, oh, let's go check it out. So they Superman it up. It's very Superman, where they go, they find Korra out of her pod and like nuzzled up against a polar bear dog pup, which would become Naga. So Korra was raised in the southern water tribe, but here's the thing: no one can bend. Like, there's no bending here. It's a lot of soldiers who can use guns and swords and whatnot. And ships. There's no bending on this planet, but they all call themselves they all base themselves off the elements, because that's where that's where their kind of their geographical connections are. So Korra becomes she does become adopted. She does get adopted by Tanrak and Senna, and she grows pretty quick. Like, she grows pretty quickly. She starts learning, and the other thing that was fascinating. And the other reason why Tanrak and Senna were like, holy crap, let's see what happened, is because not too far away from where Korra landed, there is two gateways on the north and south hemisphere of this planet. And those hemispheres are what they call, like, they call them doorways to the spirit world, or what they think is the spirit world. And those energies of that energy of the southern portal affected Korra as an infant. Essentially, now, as she grew older, she learned that she could control the 4 elements. And as she grew more powerful and larger and stronger, there was a lot of whispers that she is the next Avatar. Now, in this universe, this version of the Avatar is is basically this generational hero that is said in their scriptures to be like who comes in great times of conflict. The last Avatar was Aang, who was this warrior monk who brought peace after 100 years of war, and died 5 years before Korra was found. So they're already thinking, holy shit, Korra's got to be the next Avatar. Because again, it's not reincarnation. It's more like they're prophesized heroes that would unite and save the planet in times of great tribulation. So, yeah, there's kind of some great tribulation going on because there's a movement called there's this movement by a guy named Amon who believes who calls him a leader of the Equalist Society. Korra Korra hears of these guys and is like, well, this fucker ain't right. So she fights him in one-on-one combat, but does battle with him and just straight up kills him. But she spares the rest of his followers if they pledge loyalty to her. So she's already got that whole like I'm in charge. I can lead. But she also finds out after speaking with some of the with the members of the Equalists that they were being funded by her uncle Unalaq. Unalaq has basically been he's been communing in the spirit world with the ancient gods. You might know where this is going now. So yeah, the portals here, the planet itself has literally a core that is like a webway to the chaos realm, like into the warp. It's literally like a warp portal that is a doorway into chaos. Now the demons can't get out, but people can go in. So people go in there and they get either possessed or manipulated or anything like that. And that's what Unalaq's been doing. He's been going in there and becoming more and more connected with the chaos gods. In fact, he when Korra goes to confront him, Unalaq has an army of demon-possessed soldiers that she has to fight her way through. But eventually she does find out that Unalaq not only escaped, but murdered Tanrak and Senna as well. She killed her dude killed her parents. Korra proceeds to go out and hunt him down and proceeds to just fucking murder him. And kill the demon inside of him as well. So, in here, Korra, like I said, she can manipulate the elements because it's kind of like her Psyker ability. It's a variant of a Psyker power, or just Psyker energy in general. So Korra eventually just gets everyone together. She just unites all the tribes. They've all been isolationists for so long. She gets the 4 nations together and is like, we are not going to allow chaos to whatever these, because she doesn't know it's like chaos. Unalaq called them dark gods. Called them dark spirits. He didn't call them the chaos gods or anything like that. They don't know what that is. So she was like, I'm not going to let these dark spirits rule rule us. So we're going to unite under one banner, under me. So Korra, now leader of the 4 nations, she's now leader of the 4 nations, and she is overwatching in case of any demonic invasions. In fact, she will actually go into the portals to kill any demons that come her way. In fact, she went into the portal one time for 6 months and came out with the head of a great unclean one. She was carrying it on her back, and she's just like, here, deal with that. So one day, a stranger came in. A stranger who seemed to know a lot about Korra, as she's overseeing her new united kingdom. And she's like, who are you, stranger? Like, you see, like, I feel as though I know you. And he's like, I should, I am your father. And she's like, ha ha, my father's dead, dick. So Korra, that's when she finds out this is the Emperor of Mankind. And the Emperor introduces himself, and he's like, you are my lost daughter, and I am here to take you home to Terra. And Korra is like, motherfucker, I'm running a country. Do you see that? I am running an entire planet. And he's like, cool. It's ours now. It's like the Empire of Man, the Imperium of Man has just gained another planet. Come on, we'll take you back to Terra. So Korra begrudgingly goes back to Terra to see what these others, and as they're traveling back, the Emperor is like telling her about her creation, what she, what her place is, what the other Primarchs, and tells her, yeah, you have brothers. And she's like, really? Can I meet? Yeah, you're gonna go meet them. So she does, and now she's basically, in this canon, she's the 8th Primarch to be found. So there were a few others that got discovered, and eventually when all the Primarchs are brought back together, the Great Crusade begins. Now, Korra does go back to her home world. Which the Emperor tells her, oh, that world's called Elementus, and you can go back. That's your home world now. Cool. And Korra's like, cool beans. It's mine. I don't care what your empire, what the Imperium of Man. Why was that so hard to say? The Imperium of Man says, I run that planet. It's mine. I overlook it. And he's like, cool, now you look over the entire system. So Korra, of course, as a Primarch, she does have Space Marines that do need, like a Space Marine chapter that needs her. Her own Legion needs her. And her Legion is called the Ursa Majors. The Ursa Majors are a group of Space Marines who are clad in like white and blue, white and blue armor. An inverse to the Ultramarines. And they are adept with combat in terms of like snow or Arctic areas or even like rugged terrain. Like they're like this hazardous terrain kind of Space Marines. So Korra meets the Ursa Majors, and she's like, oh, I guess I'm your gene mother? Hi. And the Space Marines like kneel to her, and she's like, ooh, I do not like this already. And one of them takes off their helmets and is like, Mother, we're happy to see you again. She's like, I do not like that. So the two that approach her and speak to her are Mako and Bolin. And they've been basically, like, Mako is the chapter master of this Legion. And he's basically been running things, but now he's like, yes, it's good to see you again, Mother. It is, we're happy to follow you again. And Korra's just like, cool. I don't know how I feel about being called Mother, but guess I'll roll with it. So now that all the Primarchs came back, it was time to begin the Great Crusade, and Korra and the other Primarchs set out to do what they do best: conquer worlds. Now, if you're wondering what Korra's relation to the other Primarchs are, let's speed run it real fast. She's not she thinks Lion is just a dick. She doesn't get along with Lion. She doesn't get along with Altharius, or and by extension Omegon. She does not. The one Primarch she does not like. I will fucking end him if he comes near me. Is Conrad. She once tried to go on a campaign with Conrad, and when she saw his homeworld and what he had done to it, she was like, "This isn't ruling. This is terror. This is fear. This isn't love. This is not love for your people. This is cruelty that you're lashing out at." So her and Conrad do not like each other. Keep that in mind. The other Primarchs that she gets along with are, if you guessed Leman Russ is her favorite, yeah, her and Leman Russ are like the best of friends. They're like best bro, best sis, and also she loves hanging out with Jagatai. The other thing is that Korra always, even though she does hate Conrad, she does make an attempt to understand and hear her brothers, as opposed to the other Primarchs who are like, fuck you too. And yes, like all the other Primarchs, she did adore and love Horus. So she does, unlike the other Primarchs, Kora does try to make an attempt, because they're my family, they're my brothers. I need to at least make some time for them. And again, she's like, except for Conrad can go fuck himself. She does try to take time to whenever she can link up with Vulcan, or she'll hang out, and she loves hanging out with Vulcan, as well as Sanguinius. Rabute, she thinks Rabute is a stick in the mud, but she does have respect for Rabute. She does have a lot of respect for Gilliman, even though she does say, the guy's fucking boring. Same with Manus. She thinks Manus is alright. Korra does not give two shit. She thinks Fulgrim is pretty stuck up. She also makes a lot of time for Korax. For Corvus Corax. She makes a lot of time for him when she can. Of course she adores Sanguinius. But another two brothers that she likes to spend time with, because again, no one bothers with them or feels like they care about them, is Angron and Lorgar. Angron, because when she first encountered Angron, she challenged him to a fight, and the two got into a fist fight where Angron did win, but she got his respect. And even with her abilities, she can actually stem the pain of his butcher's nails for a short time. Not a long time, but maybe give him a max of 48 hours of peace from the butcher's nails. But still they come back no matter what, and that even makes him mad, because it's I get to feel peace for a short time, and then it gets ripped away from me again. Lorgar, she has a lot of conversations about godhood and things like that, because to her, while her brothers and while she sees the other Primarchs as her siblings, she doesn't view the Emperor as her father. She's like, yeah, I acknowledge that he made me, but I was raised by a father. His name was Tonrock. The Emperor is not my father. He's my creator. But she also acknowledges, even if the Emperor doesn't say so, she's like, that motherfucker's a god. He can say no all he wants, but that motherfucker is totally a god. But she doesn't worship him. But she also likes to listen to Lorgar. And even, tried to advise against Monarchia. She was like, hey, I don't know how... the Emperor is going to feel about this. I think he's going to be mad if you do this. And he's like, nonsense, he'll see the fruits of our labor and be praised for all eternity. And she's like, okay, I warned you, bro. Then there's, Magnus. Magnus, she tries to understand, because he's always looking for, furthering knowledge and whatnot, even though she's like, I care about the here and now, but I'll listen to you, Magnus, for a bit. Same with Mortarion. Mortarion, she's like, this guy is gross, both inside and out, but he's my brother, I will work with him. So, there are some people she likes to get along with, others she's just like, fuck you, and they're like, fuck you too. But she continues the Great Crusade. As for, supporting characters, of course she has Chapter Master Marco at her side, she has Bolin, another one of her top lieutenants in her legion. She also has Tenzin. Tenzin in this continuity is a tech priest who is kind of like her advisor, like the Malkador is to the Emperor. So, but he is, he's very much about, talking about, sciences and things like that. But he also, wants to have... He also believes Korra is pretty special. He believes Korra is a special being, not in the same way the Omnisaya is, but he believes that she's going to help mankind when the Great Crusade is over. He firmly believes that the Omnisaya created you for the purpose of shepherding mankind when it's all said and done. And Korra's just like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, Tenzin. Because Korra is very much I don't want to think about what happens to me and my brothers after the war is over. I don't want to think about that, because I don't think it's going to be good. So, eventually her, because yeah, she's not, keep in mind, she's not trying to go traitor. She's just like, she doesn't like the idea, because she's battled despots before. All she's done is battle despots and unite her people. Korra in this universe doesn't like, she acknowledges that he's godlike, her creator, but she just has this gut feeling that like there's nothing good for when it's all said and done, and the Great Crusade is over and mankind has flourished across the galaxy. What's going to happen to me and my brothers? So yeah, and if you want to know what happens next, if this video does well enough, I'll do a second part with Korra during the Horus Heresy. But yeah. The other thing I want to bring up real fast is that the other reason why Korra doesn't trust the Emperor fully trust the Emperor is because she saw what happened to the second. Like, the second Primarch, it really fucked losing one of her brothers because they spoke, they barked too loudly, as Lorgar had once said. And keep in mind, some of her like Horus, she has a conversation with Horus once where they're talking, and Horus goes, "Sister, why, if you don't trust our father, like, why are you fighting in his Great Crusade?" And she's like, "Because mankind, and like, I'm scared of what he's gonna do to mankind if we're not here to like keep him at arm's length away from them." Like, she's doing this not for the Emperor. She's doing this for mankind, because she's also seen, like, what else is out there. Now that she's been part of these Great Crusades, she sees the horrors that are out there. Yeah, so that's why she's a part of this, and kind of and yeah, she's still loyalist, but who knows, maybe that might change. But yeah. So you guys tell me in the comments below, do you guys like this, hate this? Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. Like I said, if this does well enough, I will do a part 2 that will be Primarch Korra set during the Horus Heresy. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.